Hello everybody, welcome back to Andertons TV.
Hello.
Yes, this is the Clash of the Titans. This is the contender, the new contender, the Universal Audio range of UAFX pedals, in particular here the Starlight Echo Station versus the reigning undisputed world champion, the Strymon range of delay pedals. I'm jesting slightly there. I think we're just purely and simply going Strymon for the last 10 years or so have undeniably come to market on multiple occasions with a pro spec premium price pedal and been incredibly successful with it.
Incredible.
There is an army of Strymon fans out there.
And if the guys from Strymon were here today, they would ask you to like and subscribe to our first video of our channel first, hit the notification, then they'll say, but do it on ours as well. So, you know. Don't you think?
Well, probably. And why not? Let's just add in, if you want to see the video that we shot of the full range of UAFX pedals, because they're new. Just
look at you go! Look at you go!
Just saying. Yeah. I copy all my things from CarWow.
Yeah, that's it. We all CarWow.
Anyway,
have we got
look,
a stick of truth as well? I think we need one of those. Over
here on my right is the new Starlight. Now, the Starlight from Universal Audio has several modes of delay that actually Strymon don't really do in one pedal unless you go up to their timeline, which is a bit more expensive, quite a bit bigger, and is the full sort of MIDI programmable one. So what we decided to do here is shoot out the Starlight versus, I'll plug different Strymon pedals in. So they do a El Capistan, which is their kind of tape pedal. They do a Dig, which is their dual digital delay, and the oldest one, which is the sort of the original Bucket Brigade kind of delay pedal they do, is called the Brigadier.
So you're telling me, Lee, that if I want to have the same that's in the Starlight, I basically have to buy all of these three pedals to get that?
I would be surprised if anybody went and bought all three of these. You're much more likely to go and buy the timeline. But hey.
But then you can't, the timeline, you can only use one delay at a time, am I right?
Yes.
Yes, but if you want to use two delays at a time, well,
you have them on different presets, don't you?
Yes, but I'm saying, does anyone use two delays?
The Edge.
In once?
Look, we're going to digress here. Let's just quickly get the biggest negative comments that we had on our Universal Audio UAFX original video was the lack of MIDI functionality on the range of pedals here. We've talked to UA about that. They're really not going for that kind of customer. They really just feel what they wanted to do off the bat was the best possible kind of simple to use on and off style effect pedal that they could.
Yeah.
So you take the Starlight, and although it's got lots of different modes inside it and stuff, there's no way of MIDI recalling that. So you just have a simple on and off button, and then you do have a little bit like Strymon in a way. You have one extra preset.
Yeah.
Same kind of on a lot of the Strymon stuff. I say a lot of that, not these three, interestingly, on other Strymon pedals where you have one effect and a favorite. I'm trying to remember whether or not you've got the option on these Strymon pedals to use an external favorite switch. Hey, let's not go there for now.
But it's worth mentioning that they did say there is a USB-C plug in the UA, without sounding like that might become a MIDI functionality at some point. But they said, hey, it's there, so who knows?
So the main point of this demo was to literally just compare the audio. So feature-wise, you can go and geek out on the various different websites and see what the features of each pedal were. But I wanted to just essentially compare the EP3 mode of this versus the El Capistan, the analog DMM mode versus the Brigadier, and the precision versus the Dig. I'm not saying that they are 100% kind of like head-to-head kind of things, but they're loosely in the ballpark. So let's have a little listen. We're using a JHS switchback here to isolate the two effects loops. So we've got the guitar into a Dane pedal, into a Victory V40, and then the effects loop is running through the switcher. So the effects loop of the amplifier is running through the switcher. So if you see the green light, it's this pedal. If you see the red light, it's this pedal, and they're completely isolated.
That's a cool little switch, that.
It's very handy for YouTube demonstrators.
Yeah, and you can have a remote on it as well.
Yes, right. So let's just hear our straight up quarter note mode on the Starlight, which is actually what Pete played at the beginning.
Yeah.
But let's just delve into it a bit more now.
You want just like a chord like this. I mean, they sound very similar off the bat. I would say.
I think this is. I think there's a top end that you get over here. So. It's just marginally slower, isn't it? I've tried to turn the tape aging down here because I don't want to sort of. I want to recreate like the newest tape delay possible.
Yeah, the other one's got three modes of three different aging, or
yes.
but they're completely different tapes, right?
Yeah. So on the Starlight, we're already on the setting that is its newest tape.
Okay.
So and I've turned tape age all the way down. So let's just hear the Starlight.
There's some flutter in there that makes it
even all the way down. The
that.
aging and the flutter for me still feels more prominent on the El Capistan.
Try it again. Try it again. Yeah, it's almost. You can hear that flutter when you do a chord, when you do this kind of thing. You know, on that one there, you can hear when it goes the second delay in, it becomes a little floppy.
I think what I meant is we've got somewhere to go on the Starlight to add flutter and aging and stuff, whereas on the Capistan, it doesn't feel like there's anywhere to go to remove anymore.
To make it newer and newer tape.
That is it. That is as new as it can possibly sound.
Yeah.
Which of course a lot of people would only buy a tape delay to have that kind of slightly aged sound.
But you have to remember the tapes were new once, which means they did sound newish.
I'm just going to go into now. Let's basically add some more wow and flutter into both settings of pedals. So here we have the. If I go back over here.
Flutter, yeah. It's like
there's loads more distortion on the Capistan. Let's see if we can go to the final mode and really. So I can get that level of distortion now.
Oh, did you hear that? That's where the tape, so the tape goes back on itself. Have a listen. That's where it's spliced together. Apparently, that's the splice of the tape.
So, okay, we're going to move on now.
Yeah.
So here we go, round two. We've now moved the Starlight onto its analog DMM mode and plugged the Brigadier in. I will just add one of the things that was we were going to run this as a stereo sort of setup. But the fact that the Brigadier only has the stereo input using a TRS jack meant that we just didn't have the right cables here to plug it in. So we've elected to go mono. I suspect that's actually
It's probably what most people will do.
Well, I think if you're in stereo, just bear in mind, if you need the Brigadier to take a left and a right input, bear in mind you're going to have like a 2-into-1 TRS style jack. So
they can be quite noisy and
especially
annoying.
on patch cable. I think you'd probably have to almost have a custom patch cable made because all of our TRS, are like massively long. Anyway, that's why we're running in mono. The UA does have proper left and right in and a left and right out. But hey ho, so here we
What's
go.
That sound? Everybody look.
I'm turning the modulation all the way down on both, and then I'll put a little bit of modulation in as well, so you can see. So this is your real like traditional bucket brigade kind of delay. Here's the Starlight. Here's the Brigadier.
They're very similar.
I think I've got a little bit more feedback maybe.
Yeah, let's try to go back. There's a little bit more, you need a little bit more mix volume up on the Starlight, I think. It's still a little bit, it's not as loud, so.
There's not a lot in that, is there? I still think I can hear this just. It's almost just like the Strymon pedal's got like a high-pass filter built into it. That
I know what you're saying.
You know, and there's just a little bit more there.
But is that because technology has come a long way in 10 years? Could that be or is a bucket brigade, any bucket brigade delay just sound like a... I mean, we could do a shootout, couldn't we? Where we had like a, what's the one?
Carbon copy.
The carbon copy and a couple of other like bucket brigade.
You could go on forever.
I wouldn't be able to
I'm
tell
going to put
the
a little bit of
difference.
modulation in now. I've gone over to mode C on the Starlight because that's the chorus rather than vibrato.
Okay.
I don't know what the modulation on the Brigadier is. I suspect chorus, but who knows?
So here is somebody will.
Yes. Here is a little bit of modulated delay courtesy of the Starlight. And same thing and on the Brigadier.
Still, that's longer. I think the Brigadier is slightly longer.
That's tough to tell the difference, right?
I think it sounds a little bit more worn.
Yes.
The Brigadier. You know what I mean? When it sounds a little bit more broken, basically.
There's some of that loss of high fidelity, isn't there? Just on that seems to be like a Strymon characteristic. I think it may be. I mean, I remember Dan and Mick talked about a delay. So you had what they called a character delay, which I'd never heard that terminology before, or that kind of jargon. And this idea that the delay isn't, that the objective of the delay is not to give you the most accurate repeat of each note, it's to add character and flavour to those. So that's what a lot of old delays would have done just because of the nature of the technology that's in them.
I think that's why one of the reasons why they like to run the delay straight into the front of the amp. I mean, I run mine in the front of the amp because it gives a different tone to the guitar. Anyway.
So that's the Brigadier. I mean, again, that's probably harder to choose between the two, although I suppose these are about between sort of £250 and £300 each, and this is obviously £350 for everything, so I suppose from that point of view, it's nice to have everything in one.
Yeah.
But I think if you already had a Brigadier and that was the kind of delay you were going for, that doesn't feel like a lot of reason to stick that on eBay and jump over to one of those.
Unless you want another preset, you can have another
Right, let's go over to the Dig. Features-wise, by the way, I said we're really not going deep into that. All of these pedals, you've got all your different quarter notes and dotted eighths and triplets, etc., etc. I'm just leaving it on its basic sort of quarter notes mode.
You can probably find another
the video will be like 14 hours long otherwise. So here we go.
14 hours, that's like a normal video for us.
So our final shootout now is Starlight, which we've moved over to the precision delay setting versus the Strymon Dig. Now the Dig is, arguably probably does have some functionality in it that you can't do on the Starlight, because the idea on the Dig is there's actually 2 delay circuits that you can independently kind of blend together. So you've got a separate, your second delay has its own time signature and mix, but they are syncopated, he says, I think. But I'm going to leave the mix of the second delay 0. So we're literally just hearing this sort of delay versus delay, if you like. And again, we can add some modulation in over here, and there are different types of delay over here. I've got it on its 2496 mode. So, I'm just in case you're wondering as well, I'm using the tap tempo to do the signature, so kind of you can ignore where the knob is set at the moment, because I'm not really using that to set the delays. Let's hear the Starlight. That for me is the most. That's the least character added to. That's like the
it's
note
a digital,
just digitally delayed.
It's a digital delay, and it sounds.
And that would be the purpose of it, to just recreate the same note over and over again and let it naturally fade away. Yeah. Here's the Dig.
Fade away. Slightly, when it deteriorates, it goes a little bit more distortion.
Yeah, a little bit.
Let's have that again. Is that the cleanest it can go, that?
Well, I don't know. There's an ADM mode.
No, it still has got this little
and
farty.
12-bit presumably is the...
If it's say 2496, that's probably the highest setting. Yeah. Go on the other one, please. Just. See, it doesn't give those little tiny farts in the end. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree.
It's almost like a little at the end.
Tiny bit maybe on the Starlight.
Tiny bit. Let's have a listen.
Close again though now.
It's very close. I mean, it's like skipping a stone, isn't it? Maybe they're a little bit more on one of them. I don't know if that makes any sense. You know, when they hit.
So let's just okay. So play it. Let's introduce a little bit of modulation again on the Starlight. It's on a knob, and obviously on the Dig, I've got 2 options: light and deep. So here we go with its light mode over here.
Light and deep. They sound very similar to me. I'm just going to jump back down.
Yeah, I mean, interestingly, again, on here, I've got it set at the moment to add flanger as modulation. I think I might just change this to chorus for modulation.
Gets a little distorted there at the end. I've got no. Maybe I don't know if I'm not.
Let me just try. I want to try the deep mode versus a lot more modulation on here.
Go deep.
I'm going deep. It's a good sound.
It's a great sound. A bit more C6 deep, isn't it? That's a weird modulation on that one. It's very.
It's really. I'm gonna turn the modulation off, and maybe we'll just try it with some drive.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so. It's really. I mean, I suppose if you're new and you don't own like a top spec delay pedal, and it was a choice of do I buy one of these or
Two. You buy
one or two of these, or maybe.
Yeah.
Then I can see why there's probably a solid argument to lean towards the Starlight. Particularly, I think I like the Starlight. You know, the tape thing for me was pretty standout over that. But if you've already got one of these and you're kind of thinking, I'm pretty happy with it, I don't know that there's enough. It's not compelling enough to think I must run out and change it for. I mean, some of you guys have got horrendous pedal addiction and you just change your pedals for the sake of it, which is fair enough.
Can you get a vaccine for that? I'm thinking. Please don't invent that.
There'd be a lot of money in a vaccine for pedals. It would save guitar players a fortune, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but you wouldn't.
No, that's how Andertons would go out of business, so that's bad. I'd set up one of those QAnon-style anti-vaccine theory websites.
Don't back vaccines towards pedals.
So,
what?
I mean, okay, so with some... what are you guys thinking? You
Yeah,
know, it's like,
this is what it is.
This is one of those videos where it's like there really isn't a kind of a definitive right or wrong.
We haven't done a lot of playing either. You know, there's a lot... I think there will be some more people out there doing in-depth complete comparison with these two things, you know.
So let's
get a bit of drive.
Bit of drive.
Go back. A bit of a ring up to it. Listen here, listen. There's that thing. Go back on the other one.
You feeling that? I can't hear that.
I mean, there's not much in it, Lee, is there? I mean, all I can say is that this guitar and the Dane and that amp sounds great.
Let's just because we always forget. So that's a PRS Paul's guitar.
Yeah.
The Dane is a Thorpe Dane. There's a Boss TU3 because
that's for tuning.
And the amp is a DP40, which is basically a purple version of a V40 with a slightly different reverb. Links to the pedals will be below.
What do you think?
Yeah. I mean,
what do you think? What? You know, do you like one? Do you like the other? Which one would you get? I mean, I like the fact that I could have two presets on the one pedal.
Yes, it's weird because on the reverb when we did the Starlight, when we did the Golden Reverberator versus the Blue Sky, they were identical like that. There was a favourite switch and a...
Yeah, but is there an expression pedal in this that you can prop in and you can have I think you can.
I'm hopeless here. I'm sure that there is a switch that Strymon did called the favourite.
The favourite.
And it plugs into the expression pedal and you can then do that. But that's another 50 or 60 quid, isn't it? Which makes it
the same price.
Hey ho!
And that will come with an app at some point, so you can actually go in and deep dive.
Oh yeah, there's a bit of Bluetooth on this. I mean, this is technology for 2021, isn't it? Whereas these guys, particularly the Brigadier, I've got a feeling it's like a 10-year-old pedal. But
hey,
it's
got USB-C.
Anyway, look, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that's made your buying decision, whatever you choose, slightly more informed. And Pete and I are off to plug some other guitars in and make some more videos.
Yeah,
so we shall see you soon on Andertons TV.